It's been 20 years since you were selected #1 overall by the Bengals.
Making me feel old.
No, it's got to be a special moment for you. Could you kind of take us back to that time? Is there anything that sticks with you even to this day?
No doubt. I mean, it was, it was in New York. It was one of my first couple trips to New York, so it was exciting. It was new. It was fresh. I had family. I had friends. You're in the green room. There's all these other guys that you don't know where they're going to get drafted. But I just remember, your name gets called. You go on, kind of like a little media row there, at the draft. You hit all the radio spots, the TV spots, and then you get back to the green room. Your family's partying, they're celebrating, and you're like, hold on, everybody's so excited, and that excitement is great, but you're really just getting started in a new career because you go straight to the airport, you get on a plane, and you're flying to Cincinnati or whatever team just drafted you. So, it's kind of bittersweet because everybody around you is so excited. You finally have reached this, this goal. And as the player, as the guy that just got drafted, you're like, hold on now, let's not celebrate too much. I'm just this is a whole new career. This is a new team, a new city, a new fan base. Everything is new. And there's so much work. I remember being almost overwhelmed because there's so much pressure. And everybody wants to be in New York City and enjoy, or this year it's in Kansas City and enjoy and celebrate. But you got to get to work. You got to get to your new city. You got to get in the weight room. You got to get in the film room. You got to meet all these new guys. So as exciting as it is for your family and your friends that are there with you, it's just a whole new set of expectations and pressure and stress that you're heading to a new place, a new team, a new organization, and you got a lot of work ahead of you.
Aaron Rodgers, done deal to the Jets. Obviously, a lot went into that, and he didn't necessarily have a banner season this past year between the injuries, not playing with his buddy Davante Adams. Do you realistically think that we are going to get that MVP level Aaron Rodgers when he takes a field with the Jets? Because not everyone can play till they're 45.
He doesn't have. Now that he's a New York Jet, he doesn't have a Davante Adams. He's got some decent, solid receivers. But you don't have that true number one in Davante. He doesn't have that monster in the backfield that Aaron Jones is. Aaron Jones is one of the best young running backs in the league. Explosive, can score from anywhere on the field, can catch, can run, can block. He is somebody that defenses have to focus on, prior when Aaron was in Green Bay. It wasn't just Aaron, it was Aaron and Aaron. Well, he's going to a team in New York that has some talent, but you don't have an Aaron Jones. You don't have a Davante. So it's not a stellar roster for a quarterback that's learning a new league, really a new conference in the AFC now, a new head coach in Robert Saleh, and just a defensive-minded head coach, which is a big adjustment coming from only offensive-minded head coaches and Mike McCarthy and what he's had in the past. So, I just don't see it going from, a decent situation to this amazing situation with this roster that's full of Pro Bowlers. It's not a massive upgrade. So, I'm excited for New York. It's been a position they've really been trying to fill and trying to find the right guy. They're not going to get 10 years out of him, but I hope they get 2 or 3 great ones out of him.
And at least help, some of them younger guys out a little bit with that his experience that he brings to the table, at least.
No doubt. I mean, he's a captain. He's a leader. He's a future Hall of Famer. And anytime you add that guy, even if he is at the tail end of his career, there's a certain level of professionalism that naturally happens in that locker room. Certain level of maturity. When you bring in a guy with his resume, naturally everybody kind of sits a little taller in their seat, sits a little forward, pays a little more attention, works a little harder. And at first, now can Aaron keep everybody really, really grinding, really focused, really studying game plans, practicing hard? I think he brings a certain element to that locker room that they've been missing. But still, I mean, it's a big adjustment. I did it at 35, and it was hard. You got to reprove yourself. You're, totally new locker room. It is a big, big adjustment. But if anybody can do it, it's Aaron Rodgers.
I want to talk about this current Bengals team with you. Another former first-round pick, Joe Burrow. Before we get into, what he can do or his future, I do want to talk a little bit about the Burrowhead situation. I know you're a big fan of him, and it seems like this year it kind of blew up in his face a little bit. But do you feel like the team or him in particular, do you feel like they learned anything about the humility that has to come with the NFL with that?
Yeah, there was a lot of hoopla around the Burrow head and just the success that Joe had against that Kansas City team, eventually you're going to lose one, right? I mean, you can't win them all at Arrowhead. I didn't feel like that was really instigated through the team. That was really the media hyping it up and blew it up. But I think the sky's the limit for Joe. I think he's as talented as anybody at the position. I think the organization's done the right job. They've surrounded him with a great offensive line. They have spent money in free agency. They have spent draft picks. Kansas City's just a tough one to chase down because Patrick Mahomes just has a whole nother level, a whole nother gear to his game. He won a Super Bowl with one leg. I mean, what he was able to do, and he continuously proves us wrong. Just when you think, Patrick's too hurt to win the AFC Championship. Oh, Patrick's too hurt to win a Super Bowl. He goes out and does it. So the AFC is so compelling right now. I mean, you've got those two guys that are probably going to play in the AFC Championship next year. You could say that. But you also have Justin Herbert, who's dynamic and a phenomenal player. Now we got Aaron Rodgers also in the AFC. I mean, the AFC is so challenging. There's so many good quarterbacks, so many well-run organizations. It's the AFC Super Bowl to lose going in these next couple of years because the talent is so good, and especially at the quarterback position in the AFC right now.
All right, I want to talk about another team you spend a decent amount of time with, the Arizona Cardinals. Got to hit you with the hard-hitting questions first. The uniforms, they seem kind of exactly the same. Yeah. What's going on with the design team? Have you seen them?
I personally like the old school ones. Remember the ones that Jake Plummer wore? It was like a bright, shiny red pant, white socks, red stripes, white jersey.
Why don't they do something like that?
I'm an old school guy. I like the old school look. Everybody's trying to create a new edge and a new alternate color. Some of these teams, like that Seattle Seahawks fluorescent green jersey doesn't do it for me.
I like it that much.
I feel like, it's obviously a moneymaker for the league. The more jerseys you have to choose from, the more jerseys can be sold. So I get it. But I prefer the old school look. I don't know about these new, I've only seen the Twitter feed of a couple shots of guys. Yeah. We'll see when they run those uniforms out and there's 11 guys on the field and you get to see it from, the 50-yard line and get to see it as a whole. Sometimes it feels a little better, but I'm not a big fan right now.
Well, in all seriousness, though, this past season, they did have moderate expectations. Obviously, ended the season 4-13. Where do you feel like things went wrong for them?
Everywhere. I mean, it's just been a mess. I mean, from Kyler getting hurt, firing Cliff Kingsbury, firing Steve Keim, now another new coach. This is the third new coach since I left, and I feel like I just left, and it was only 5 years ago. So it's just been a mess. But, to give Cardinals fans some hope, when I first got there, it was a mess. And then we went to the playoffs in 2 years. So I've seen Michael Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, turn things around quickly. And from my perspective, being a fan now, and my kids are Cardinal fans, so I'm always following and hoping and keeping my fingers crossed. My hope relies on Michael figuring this out, finding the right combination of head coach, GM, and quarterback, and they're still searching. But I've seen them turn around quickly, and I've seen things happen quickly and go from really bad to really pretty good quick, and turn around that trajectory. So I'm hoping that happens. It started off with a new uniform. I didn't jump out of my seat at the new unis. They're okay. I think they're going to be all right. But we need Kyler healthy. I mean, who knows? Is it going to be week 1, week 10, week 14? He's coming off a major knee surgery and a major knee rehab with a new head coach, a new system, a new GM. So it's a hot mess right now, and I'm hoping we can turn things around quick.
Hey sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.